Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. He has risen. Terence Crawford, that is, all hail the king. The boxing god. He has risen. He's back in training and out here getting busy. So check this out. I have my concerns about Terence Crawford and the inactivity and coming off of the inactivity to get in the ring with Canelo in September. But I kept saying, he's smart, his team is smart. I'm sure they have a plan. But let me tell you something about Crawford and the training routine that he does and how they're going to be, ratcheting things up a bit to ensure Crawford is in tip-top shape, no excuses, to get in there and annihilate Saul Canelo Alvarez from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. Now look, Canelo fans don't want to hear none of this. And the Crawford fans don't like to hear the videos I do when I talk about Canelo whipping Crawford's ass. But one thing I got to say is, Crawford's back, the king has risen, and he's putting in that work to make sure he comes out victorious. Now, I came across something, I'm going to share it with you all, right? That just lets me know the type of work Terence Crawford puts in is a reason why he's in the position that he's in, okay? The man puts in some serious work. He has a very arduous workout regimen that he follows, and I'm pretty sure he's going to add to what he's been doing in the past. So check this out, okay? I'm going to add this on here for you. Here we go, right here, okay? Let's just take a look at this. Terence Crawford, his training routine. Now, this is a 24-hour breakdown. This was last updated October 21st, 2023. But it gives a good foundation and baseline for us to get a peek behind the tent flaps of what old Crawford does before a big fight. Now, this is again from 2023, but it's a good starting point. Now, we know Crawford's had titles 35, 40, 47, 54, now trying to go up and fight Canelo. Could be for undisputed if Canelo does the business. This just lets you know he became undisputed lightweight in 2017 and first male two-division undisputed champion, the four-belt era in July 23. And we already know he's ranked, arguably pound for pound, the best fighter, okay? Now, this starts talking about his training routine. In the morning, team meeting about the goals for the day. Strength and conditioning training, specific exercises to improve Crawford's weak points, swim. That right there is critical. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Me being a guy, retired military guy, I am telling you, man, this is how the day's supposed to go. You know how many meetings I should go through every single day? There'd be the morning meeting, then there'd be another meeting about our jobs and everything, and going to meetings about, I was a project manager, so there's a lot of meetings. But I said there'd be a morning meeting to simplify it, then an afternoon meeting to get updates from the morning meeting, and then an afternoon meeting before the end of the day to see where we're at from the afternoon meeting. So it's like rolling updates. So in the morning, you start off a kind of way. You have updates by 12, and then by close of business, you have more updates. And then you have mid-shift that have more updates. And mid-shift, something like, the midnight shift. Then you have the guys come back in the morning with updates, and the cycle repeats itself. But that way, you know what's going on. You know what needs to be worked on, and what open-ended we say. Well, we had discrepancy. I'm trying not to talk in maintenance talk, but what needs to be accomplished. What tasks are still open? What open-ended items? That's what we used to say. The open-ended items and the other things that have been closed out. So when they meet in the morning, team meeting for goals for the day. Trust me, they're not just meeting in the morning. They're going to have a meeting. They'll probably meet in the afternoon, in the evening, and then in the morning again, talking about what they did the previous day. And it'll continue throughout training camp. Strength and conditioning. Let me tell you something. For those out there who see, this is the shit that gets me. People like to talk about Terence Crawford. And is he going to have the conditioning to run, right? Because people disrespected him. To run 12 rounds against Canelo. Yo, did you not see Crawford's previous fights? All of them? When have you ever seen Crawford struggle with conditioning? When have you ever seen him struggle as far as with strength and looking like he's the weaker fighter in the ring? I'll tell you what, there's one fight I saw him fight where I was like, he gonna probably get tossed around in here. Was when he fought Sean Porter, and he was manhandling Sean Porter. We all know Sean Porter's a pit bull. So as far as strength, hold your horses and let's not take it to the stupid. When he got in there with Madrimov, I didn't see a loss in strength or that, Madrimov was bullying Crawford. I saw Crawford hold his ground when he had to and then make the necessary adjustments and not fight stupid. But I saw a guy who showed strength and conditioning. The man threw up the goddamn 60-something punches in a lot of those rounds. Crawford has strength and conditioning, which I don't think is going to be an issue when he fights Canelo. Then, specific exercises to improve Crawford's weak points. You better believe it. They're going to have specific exercises. Does he have any weaknesses? All fighters do. Okay? Going up against Canelo, what could be one of his weaknesses? Maybe sitting there trying to counter Canelo with those long arms he has. Because Canelo is a master counterpuncher. He has excellent timing, and he's accurate. And Canelo, when he lands, especially if he lands cleanly, he hurts opponents. The only time I ain't really see Canelo who landed clean shots hurt anyone, that was against Triple G. And again, Triple G is a beast, so, nobody was hurting Triple G. But that being said, Crawford in the weak points, they're going to have to tighten that up. Then he swims. Now, for those of you who don't know, swimming may be the best total body exercise that you can do. Anyone out there saying swimming is a joke, why would somebody swim that's weak? Okay, take your ass out there and try to swim a lap in the pool. And then you let me know what you're feeling. It's very exhausting whole body workout, and it gets you in great shape. And it overall really does improve your conditioning. So in the afternoon, they do technical boxing training drills. Again, the king has risen. Back to doing his technical boxing training drills, man. It's all about the foundation, all about the basics. And he makes sure that, his basics stay on point. And if you watch him in his fights, the basics really get Crawford to the finish line. You know what I'm saying? Then the adaptive drills to mimic specific fight situations. You can see that too. When he's in a fight, there's a reason why Terence Crawford does things instinctively, because he creates specific fight situations in training camp, and they drill on that to where it develops that muscle memory. So when he's in the ring and in a real fight scenario, a situation, it's not an issue. He's familiar with what's going on and he knows what to do. Especially when they look at the opponent that he's going to face and they get somebody who can emulate it. That's why you see Crawford in fights. Even if things get sticky, he makes adjustments and then he creates that separation. And especially if he goes into the phone booth and turns into southpaw, man, then he kills you. All right? Practicing both orthodox and southpaw stances. I mean, ain't no secret there. Anybody still unaware that Crawford can go from southpaw to orthodox to southpaw, you've been sleeping underneath a rock. And all I got to say to that is, hold your horses and let's not take it to the stupid. Then look, afternoon, another team meeting. What did I tell you? I'm sure I didn't look at the night and the minute. Let me see if it even has it on here. Swimming, massage, visualization, sleep. The visualization is nothing but another kind of rehashing the day. It's almost like having another team meeting. You know what I'm saying? Kind of seeing what we did for the day, where we're going, how the fight's going to play out. So this right here is really nice to know. And I wish there were more lists like this about other fighters. But the bottom line, boxing training. Crawford's always working hard to improve his moves, both on the attack and the defense. You can see this clearly when he practices with his pads, working hard to improve his moves. Absolutely. That's why Crawford has, to me, some very underrated footwork. When you watch him in there, it looks so seamless. It's effortless when you watch him gracefully moving around the ring. That's because he's working to improve his moves. And again, when you watch somebody doing this in training, it doesn't look like anything. But you get in there and you try to do it, and you'll see just how you cross your legs, cross your feet, and you can stumble and lose your balance. So it's important to put the time in to making sure that you're working hard to improve your moves, especially when you're talking about offense and defense, man, because in boxing, it's not going to be all gas, no brakes. You're going to have to know when to retreat, when to move laterally, when to circle, when to hold your ground, when to advance, how to use angles. All that comes with him, with Crawford, with him working to improve his moves. Now, one of the things that make him stand out is how easily he can switch between two different stances. We already know that. So again, working to improve his moves, orthodox and southpaw, which he seems to favor the southpaw stance, which actually surprising to me. But what's not surprising is that's why his right hook and jab is so deadly from the southpaw stance. He's naturally a heavy-handed fighter. His hands are the size of Lennox Lewis's hands. So for him to go and turn southpaw and to be able to effectively fight from the southpaw stance, I'm not surprised that he's out there tranquilizing people. Now, for anyone out there saying, well, from the southpaw stance, yeah, his jab is strong, his hook is strong. We're surprised that he's had so much success like that. Well, you shouldn't be. Oscar De La Hoya made a career out of fighting from the right-handed stance, with his left hand being the jab, because he was naturally a southpaw. He's left-handed, but he fought orthodox, so his jab and hook would be strong. And that's what De La Hoya was known for. Miguel Cotto was known for his jab and his hook, because he fought orthodox. He was naturally a southpaw. So the left hand was the lead hand, and that was a strong hand. Caleb Plant, exact same thing. He's naturally a southpaw. And I think what's his name? Subriel Matias as well. But that being said, southpaw stance has worked for Crawford. Now, they say his boxing coaches try to convince him to one stance, but remember, Crawford said he had hurt his arm, broke his arm, or broke a hand or something. Anyway, he messed up the left hand and had to work on the right hand, and he ended up working on the right hand from the southpaw stance while his left arm was injured. That he became better with his right, from the southpaw stance than from the orthodox stance, which is just shows you the level of athleticism and talent that he naturally possesses. Sparring, okay. When boxers train for a fight, they often practice sparring with other boxers to improve. This was especially true for Crawford. Early in his career, he was so good that even top boxers like Bradley were impressed by him. Now, we all know Tim Bradley. Crawford must have whipped Tim Bradley's ass real good, because every chance Tim Bradley starts talking about Crawford, he's like, man, let me tell you, man, Crawford, I knew he was champion, man. I mean, when he came in and said, look, he's not a sparring partner. You're a champion, dog. You're a champion, my man. Yeah. Man, shut the hell up, Tim Bradley. Crawford put the bing bings on Tim Bradley's ass, just like he's done everyone else. But I'm not surprised Tim Bradley was impressed by him, because Crawford went there with no trainer. Crawford was making adjustments on his own, and Crawford went there and whipped Tim Bradley's ass. So it's no surprise to anyone, especially Tim Bradley, that Terence is one of the best in the world. Terence is so good, it says here that people just don't usually win. You know, people can get rounds against him, but the thing is, once Crawford decides that he's done playing around, I mean, whether it's left hand or right hand, the fight usually ends. So he trains on the heavy bag as well. It says here, boxing fans know that developing punching power requires a lot of hard work. One of the main tools used for this purpose is the heavy bag. Crawford's no exception. Now, I'll say this. Crawford is naturally a hard hitter, but working on the heavy bag can help to improve your power, technique, footwork, getting used to, something that's simulating the body coming towards you, and you kind of, moving with the bag and knowing when to hit. When you're hitting the heavy bag, you're supposed to control it. And Crawford has got that down to a T, you know what I'm saying? But you watch him throw those combinations and everything he does in the ring, it's because, again, Crawford is the ultimate consummate professional, and he's all about perfecting everything when it comes to training, and it shows up in the ring. But when it comes to that heavy bag and the type of training Crawford does, it's all about to overall improve his boxing skills. Now, hitting the mitts, Crawford's been with his coaches most of his life, so I'm pretty sure they have excellent mitt routines. And with Crawford, I watch him, he's never focused on throwing super fast combinations and looking flashy. He's more focused on the delivery, making sure everything is done flawlessly, is executed flawlessly. And that makes a big difference in the way he performs at other fighters, because he's not just in there like Amir Khan, almost like he's just trying to score points, even though Amir Khan had good technique and he had power and speed. But you can see Crawford, man, when he lets those shots go, and when those shots land cleanly, he hurts opponents. So, again, working on offensive and defensive scenarios and focusing on the technique and tactics. Then he does a lot of shadow boxing. You see him shadow boxing all the time. And again, even I remember the coach would always be like, he'd make us run and shit. Then we come back and be like, all right, I need a shadow box, jump rope. And he'd make us pick up the dumbbells, 1, 2 pound dumbbells. Some guys would grab the 5 pounds. I always thought that was stupid. I know it helps with your speed, but if you can't throw effective, punches and shit for 3 minutes with a 5 pound dumbbell, why are you picking that shit up? So I grab like the 2 pound dumbbell and I do all my drills. But that shadow boxing, man, it does help. It does help a lot, man. You know what I'm saying? It just helps you when it comes to like adapting in the ring, just like it says here about Crawford. But bottom line, I'm really impressed with Crawford and what he does, man. And it says here that he likes to use the 2 kg dumbbells, the shadow box, because like I just said, it helps build with the strength, stay graceful, so you can hit hard while being quick. So my homeboy, I had a friend, said a guy used to wake up every morning and he's in this shadow box with like dumbbells. And according to him, the guy used to knock everybody out. But I believe it helped with his punching power. But for me, I think it helps with that, but I think more with speed. The double end bag, he works on that as well, accuracy and timing. So I'm not surprised that he's using that to practice footwork and head movement. And the strength and conditioning, I just think is one of the most impressive things about Crawford, man, is his strength and his conditioning, from deadlifting 400 plus pounds, man, to him playing basketball, him playing football, him playing darts, him being able to run marathons, this man being able to box in the 12th round like it's the first round. I just think it's a mix of the exercises, like it says here, that he does to help with the overall strength and conditioning, particularly this power, the balance, endurance, agility, and speed. So when you're covering all those bases and you're excelling in those areas, you're gonna come in there and you're gonna be highly successful in whatever you're doing, or at least it definitely increases your chances on getting the victory every time. For the upper body and just, trying to strengthen himself, they do dumbbell presses, resistance bands, pull-ups, lateral raises. It looks like there's a little bit of calisthenics involved with the weights. Lower body, trap jumps, deadlift, squats, box jumps, ice skaters, power and endurance, the medicine ball, prowlers, sled pulls, battle ropes, landmine press, and isometric work, plank holds, wall sits, isometric lunges, static push-ups. That shit is hard, man. His workout is rough. Aerobic training says Crawford won 30 fights by knockout in out of 39 matches at the time, and many fights by judges' decision before becoming a champion. Talks about him knowing about stamina, how good it is to have it. What does it say? But this kind of okay. To perform the way Crawford performs requires him to have excellent physical fitness, especially when it comes to cardio. He does a lot of altitude training, which, no surprise, a lot of fighters do. Make him work harder with less oxygen. I know Shane Mosley even bought a property up there in Big Bear, man, and a lot of fighters will go up there and rent his property and use it for training. So high altitude training does wonders for fighters. Endurance. Then again, we talked about the swimming. Manitou inline. Crawford loves to stay fit and healthy and frequently goes to Colorado to train with friends. One of the most challenging but rewarding things they do is hike up Manitou incline. Hey, I'm going to tell you, I used to run hills and run mountains when I was in Korea and in Okinawa, Japan. Let me tell you, you will lose weight, your legs will become strong, your endurance will be off the charts, man, and you will become fast. I'm telling you from experience, man. I remember when I was running those damn hills, especially in Korea, boy. I was running that's the place I used to go run. I used to run for like 2 hours. That shit was all uphill. I run, and so I don't know. I used to run for 2 hours. Like the first hour and like 20 minutes. The first hour and 20 minutes was all uphill. And then the last 40 minutes, I turned around, it would be downhill. So coming back was faster. But going up those hills, let me tell you, I used to be running that shit and I used to have to stop and jog in place and then get my breath and get my legs back underneath me and then push again. But I would never stop moving. And then I had a fitness test at the time and I was boxing. My fitness test, I ran 1.5 miles in like 7:46. You know what I'm saying? The first 2 laps, I paced myself, in the last, because I did, yes, the last 4 laps, I sprinted the whole mile. So I ran that shit in like under 8 minutes. And And then for boxing, man, my conditioning just became off the charts. Anytime I got into the spar, I had more conditioning than most of the guys. But there were some Koreans that I used to spar. Them guys were in different type of shape, but I was able to hang with them. But man, when they start getting to that 8th, 9th, 10th round, because I used to spar some of those guys. We used to spar for like 10 rounds. And man, they be putting in a new guy every 2, 3 rounds. And I'm telling you, man, them Koreans be coming with it. But at first, I couldn't do it. I was like, what the fuck? They're going to kill me. But I got myself in shape because I learned with the quickness. You out there in Asia and you sparring with them guys, that shit is life or death, man. So I learned that shit and I got myself in shape, and then it was on after that. The coach started making me just, not with all, but there were a couple guys who he would only let me do body work with them because, I learned if you don't kill them, they'll kill you. So I was in there trying to, everyone I got, I tried to bing bing because I learned my lesson the hard way with the motherfuckers bing bing me. But anyway, that has nothing to do with anything. He likes to do this, climb the stairs and shit. A lot of guys do that in basketball and track. They run the stairs. And then he jumps rope, which no surprise. For his nutrition, the man's eating baked chicken, fish, brown rice, vegetables, and avoids a lot of greasy foods and beef and pork. So the man has discipline, people. Discipline, 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 He likes to keep things simple, be versatile. He likes to keep his boxing IQ on point. He's all about, standing straight up. It says here, instead of standing straight up like most boxers, he positions himself with his weight centered and his shoulders turned inside. So he really focuses on his boxing stance and the classical fighting style. When it comes to fighting, Crawford has a unique style characterized by his minimal head and lateral movement when he fights from a distance. This fighting strategy involves him studying his opponent's range and using his speed to quickly move in and out of range. Well, that's true. He does do that. Additionally, Crawford utilizes a double arm technique to effectively dodge his opponent's strikes and position himself for counterattacks. By using these techniques, Crawford can outmaneuver his opponents and land devastating blows while minimizing the risk of getting himself hit. So, outstanding. There's a bit more in this article, but I think you guys get the point, man. Okay. Terence Crawford, the king has risen. And this is the type of work he was doing just to get ready for other fighters. He's about to get in here and scrap with Canelo. So Terence Crawford is going to be doing this. And maybe much more. If not, he's going to be doing a workload similar, make a few adjustments because sometimes less is more and more isn't always better for you. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're Crawford, 37 now, some shit. Once you start getting up there in age and you've been working so hard since you've been a young kid, your body can only sustain so much. But I am really looking forward to seeing Crawford get in here and face Canelo. And just to see if, boxing Jesus can bless Canelo with them hands. But I know there's a lot of Canelo fans who feel Crawford going to beat him anyway. Canelo going to beat Crawford, but you just never know. Especially when you're dealing with someone like Terence Crawford, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. The king has risen. The boxing god is back. In the breeze.